What's going down, everybody? This is your boy Big Drewski, and welcome to another edition of Space Bucket Growing.
Welcome to the podcast.
So what's going down, everybody? If you hear the whirring in the background, don't worry. That's the Space Bucket. Talking about the Space Bucket, so last night I found myself in a little predicament here. So my lights face down, and I'm using CFL bulbs in a square configuration with the fan in the center. And so that causes me to have to use a light stack very early on. And I kind of found out I'm already at my second light stack. Yeah, second light stack that I had to install. And that was a bit tricky. Thing about that is it's not knowing where to put the Mylar before you have to put it there. And so you build your first one all in full thinking, yeah, I'm going to use this whole thing. And then you don't realize that the tape that you put on the outside of your light stack to retain lumen tightness, and for lumen tightness, we'll refer to the mainstream way of saying that, way of keeping in the light. So what I did was I used black duct tape around the whole thing before I cut the top stack with the additional 2 inches of the plastic from the bucket off. And then I taped all that. I made sure the inside was clean of any paint residue or anything like that. And I just kind of stuck it in there for right now. And that kind of showed me something. Actually having to just stick it in there was where I can either put more reflective paneling or I can get really fancy and throw in some LED light stripping. And I can also redo this first light stack that I built in a similar fashion. This way, providing more light to my plant, therefore it doesn't have to stretch as much. And especially since I'm noticing on the inside leaves, I'm thinking about clipping off those other fan leaves on the bottom end, and this to have the top ones growing and have the new nodes grow out. But that's another story, and that's actually coming up here pretty soon, actually. So what we've learned today, or actually last night when I actually made the other light stack, was by test fitting it and seeing before I put the Mylar in where to even put it so I don't damage it like I did my other one. Then I can go from there and build something a little bit better and more efficient, and it'll take less time since you know what you're doing and things of that nature. So if you follow me on Instagram at Elevated Lifestyle LV, if you follow me on Google Plus, just look up Andrew Drew Hatcher, and I should pop up. Yes, it's public, and yes, I just gave you guys my government name. Haha. But it's on Google. You can find me on the Grow Eat Easy forum, and you can find all the posts that I have about that there. But on to the next. What's going on, everybody? Alright, so check this out. In tending to my plant yesterday, I also noticed a couple of things that were bothering me about it. Were the lower leaves. Now, I had a lot of soil in my bucket before, so a lot of my lower leaves were getting pulled down by the water and the soil that was splashing up on it, creating like a mud substance and pulling the leaves down. Therefore, they're not getting light or anything like that. So they yellowed up and they're crinkled and they're just sitting there at the bottom. So last night, I took my Fiskars and I cut those whiskers. And I clipped all the dead ones off. And I gave it a little bit, and I noticed all the leaves kind of went down. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to put it to bed. It was nearing midnight, and I noticed that, some of the leaves, they were just getting droopy. And I attribute that to, an energy going towards a cut or a wound. You feel all that pain, so I can understand that as a person. It would do the same thing to a plant, most likely. So what I did was I just clipped all those off and I left it alone. And this gave me an interesting question because I actually measured her in height. And this plant's now 7 inches tall, and I think it's on its 7th node. So a lot of folks recommend some kind of low stress training, maybe even topping. I still don't know what FMing is, but it's another technique. And I know it's to get light to where you need to be and to maximize your grow space and things like that. It just kind of freaks me out on the whole cloning and topping measures. Like, I still don't have my cloning bucket ready because I still need a lid. I have a light fixture. I have a plug that'll work with it. I don't have another light timer. I don't have a light timer. I still need a light timer for my first one. I'm sitting there doing this by hand, you guys. And an 18-6 to 12-12 schedule, having to wake up and go to bed on that thing is crazy. But I wake up about 8 o'clock, and it gives me about 4 hours to play with until I have to turn it back on. But that's if I'm turning it to veg. Right now, I'm thinking about keeping it in the flower state just until it gets a little bit bigger. Or I grow some cojones and decide to top it. See, even talking about it kind of freaks me out. But the reason why I don't want to top it as of yet is because I myself am not prepared to take those steps. I've kind of diverted all my energy into this one bucket. And so I don't have actually I do have a clip light fixture thing that I can put over the bucket and have the fans blowing on it and just kind of work it that way. Because it is a CFL thing. I can add an adapter to hold 2 lights on there. Throw a couple of 100 watts in there. I think I just gave myself an idea, people. But if you're locally in Las Vegas and you find yourself in a situation where you find all these paint buckets or 5-gallon buckets getting thrown away, save some for your boy and then email me at elevatedlifestylelv@gmail.com or message me on social and be like, hey, Drewski, we got some buckets, man. And yeah, and then anybody else who wants to donate some lamps that they're about to throw out, you know what I'm saying? Preferably some stuff I can take apart and then throw all the rest of the stuff out. Weed should be free anyways. So why not all the parts you're going to throw out? One man's trash is another man's treasure. Yeah. But that's it on the space bucket there. And tending to the garden. It still kind of freaks me out that topping is becoming an issue this early. It's only a month old. And it kind of worries me that I might kill this plant if I don't take the right steps and procedures to go forth with my grow. That being said, taking off or thinning, as they call it, too many leaves to where it's pushing energy into nothing. And then getting into the portion of training where I have to like bend leaves and bend colas and nodes and all this crazy stuff that's going to come with it, but that's what comes with it. I'm just kind of afraid of doing it and just killing a plant. I don't want to harm it. But from what everybody keeps telling me on these forums and through social is that these things are troopers and they can withstand a lot. And it just pretty much depends on your timeline. This being my first grow, I don't really have a timeline. It's kind of indefinite right now. So I could keep this thing going until I think it's time to go ahead and fulfill the need of growing bud. That being said, help me out, y'all. Throw me some pictures on social, some pictures of your grows if you do space bucket growing, or if you've done an indoor grow, or if you've grown it all and you know what I'm talking about. You're like this big old bush of just fan leaves and new stuff coming out from the bottom, and you got a limited space. What in heck all do you do? I was going to censor myself, but fuck it. What in the fuck do you do? So that's my question to y'all. What do you guys do when it comes to growing in a tight space and the issue of maximizing your yield comes into play? Do you A, risk your plant to sudden death by doing too much as a newbie grower like I am, or B, do you get a walkthrough through one of these veterans and they show you what to do? And look, I've read Grow Weed Easy. Let's see, I've been on I Love Growing Marijuana, or I Love Growing something.com. Jesus, there's a couple of sites that I've actually read, and they're all at this same point of where, like, go ahead and just clip it. Just clip it. Especially if you're growing in a limited space. Clip it and watch the new ones come in. It'll be about a couple of weeks till you get some new colas. Then you can start training those to fit your space, and then they'll grow up towards the light. And, you can get all that going. So there's a lot of stuff to do and a lot of stuff to learn. And I'm learning a lot fast. Like I said, in only a month, I've already encountered how long to keep your seedling in a seedling pot before you get some root bound problems, when to transfer, and how not to build your grow bucket to where you can only use it as a cloning or a seedling germinating facility. That being said, I might just do that with the first one. If I can get a lid, a fan. I actually have some fans. Shout out to, Ma Dukes. She came through. She pulled through with the big fans too, not the little small PC fan that you get. It's kind of the standard joint. She came through with that big boy. She gave me, I think there's like 6-7 of them in this bag here. And so I can use those for exhaust fans. I have a bucket that's pre-built. Y'all know about that. If you follow me on social, Bucket 1.0. This is Bucket 2.0 that we've been talking about. Bucket 1.0 is still lined with Mylar and 2 bottom fans with drawer holes on the bottom for the water to escape from the pot. That's going to also flush out as well. It's kind of a dual system for me. I don't know why I had it there like that, but I figured if I'm using a pot, it's going to need something to drain out in, and then I can use that drain out pan on something else, like a lid on the bottom of that one. I wasn't really thinking about it when I built it, so excuse me, y'all. But Bucket 1.0, if I can get 4 of the small full spectrum grow light bulbs and fit it in there with a nice exhaust fan pulling out, I might just use that for cloning and seedlings. Starting Yeah, some seedlings, and then continuing with some clones. So it's on the bucket list. But folks, that's enough of me yammering. I got 10 seconds. Follow me on Instagram at Elevated Lifestyle LV. Follow the podcast at What Are We Doing _podcast on Instagram.